by Novex.Finance. We're a few minutes late this morning, but the action is the same. We have to look at these charts. Let's figure out what's going on. All right, the stream is working. Cool. It kicked it off to the TG. But let's get it, everybody. As always, we're going to play a couple songs. Just let people get in here. Then we're going to do this TA, baby.
Deep in the pines, no Wi-Fi, just vines. Charts spread out, Fibonacci designs. CME gaps like ghosts in the mist. Candles burn slow, every wick got a twist. Solitude, silence, he carves out the play. Bear bully dances, no steps go astray. Alpha moves sharp like a hawk on the prowl. Numbers don't lie, he's the wolf with the howl. Clutch in the shadows, move so divine. Forest in the market, both intertwined. Catching that green while the trees sway fine. Legend on the charts, his name's a shrine. Heard the wind whisper, shorted along. Wrote a sonnet and leverage a charting song. Green candles sprout like moss on the bark. Red candles drip like blood after dark. Hedge fund whispers, they envy his grit. Trend lines obey when his cursor's lit. No discord noise, just the owl's debate. He swings like a pendulum, never too late. Monotone scatter, his trades leave a trace. Charts in his mind, no screen to replace. Cold air bites, but the profits stay warm. Market storms rage, he thrives in a swarm. Charts dance, red and green, crypto tango. Clutch sees the angles, move sharper than Rambo. Bear trap snap, but he walks unfazed. Like Fibonacci spirals, his plans a maze. Bull runs charge, he rides them like a kingpin. Signal singing, wallets fat, digits clinging. Never panic sell, now he calculates. Eyes on a breakout while the market debates. Clutch moves, he don't flinch, no fear. Candles glow bright when the path ain't clear. Clutch moves, he's the one they all cheer. Stacking those wins year after year. He reads charts like books, Elliott wave plots. Others guessing blind, Clutch connects the dots. MACD, RSI, trendline sniper. Why they chase the hype? He's the quiet decipher. Whispers to himself, patience pays the bold. Timing the entries, that gets pure gold. No noise in his zone, just signals he reads. Plays the long game, planting profit seeds. Clutch moves, he don't flinch, no fear. Candles glow bright when the path ain't clear. Clutch moves, he's the one they all cheer. Stacking those wins year after year.
Charts light up, glow brighter than the Vegas Strip. CME gaps, got the streets on a crypto trip. Candles dancing, wigs slicker than a hustler's drip. Novex moves silent, no need for a clip. Legend in the trade, fingerprints on the block. Blockchain buzzing every tick like a Glock. Defy dreams, I'm stacking on that E-Rock. Wallet full of alpha keys, turn never lock. Novex.Finance, where the game gets flipped. Candle pattern sparking every chart we grip. Decentralized hustle, never sink, never slip. West side grind, making coins do flips. Bulls charge hard, bears lurking in the fog. Patterns in the smoke, I'm the wizard with the log. Fibonacci spirals, I'm the code in the cog. Crypto moves sharper than a diamond-studded dog. Green and red candles, paint Picasso on the screen. Liquidity pools deep, pockets never lean. Well swim silent, but I peep the scheme. Alpha moves nightly. Cashing out the dream. From the Satoshi code to the ether's flame. Novex rewrites rules in this money game. Charts speak the gospel, prophets proclaim. West side rider, blockchain my claim.
We just out here painting our own story, our story of doing whatever you want, when you want it, all because of the blessings that trading brings our way. What a great weekend. Hope you spent some awesome time with your family. Maybe Santa Claus brought you a new computer and a new set of eyes so you can see these charts a bit different, just kind of how we roll here. But we got a few people up in the crowd, here on stage with us. So let's tap in with everybody. Eager to say what's up to everyone, see how they did. And then we're going to get to this TA because you were expecting something. It came, and then what? We have to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get people ready. And again, this is Trade Talk powered by Novex.Finance, a decentralized futures exchange brought to you by traders for traders. You definitely want to check in, tap in as we're early to what we're going to be building here. And so this is a real good time to be early on things when a lot of the market doesn't know what to do. We sure as heck do. We keep building, we keep moving forward. But let's get it, baby. Let's tap in with everyone. Andrew, how you doing, bro?
What's good, homie? Good to be back from the Christmas break. We've got I guess New Year's coming up will be our next little poppin' holiday. Will be on here. You know, we like to trade on New Year's around here. Man, my most I talk about every New Year's. I'll probably talk on New Year's, but dude, some of my most fun New Year's have been up just looking at the charts. Trading as we're going into the New Year. So I'm excited for everything that's about everything that we're cooking that I know of it, is going to come in the market because I know we're going to be on the right side of it. But guys, this is Trade Talk powered by Novex.Finance. Make sure you guys are following me and Clutch and Novex, regardless of whatever platform you're on, right? This goes out to X, Telegram, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere. So tap in with us, guys. We're going to be here and we're going to be running it up. Our whole goal here is just to get to profits. How this episode goes down is we figure out how we're going to make some money, right? I generally have a check-in question for stuff going on in the market that we can kind of talk about and use to just reel things in a little bit more. And then I'll kick it over to Clutch. He's going to let us know what he's seeing on the charts. He's going to call a range for the next couple of days. He's going to call direction for the next couple of days, and then we'll try to make a trade of the show. But guys, make sure you send this out to some people. Get some people in here who need some value that could use some help trading, and most importantly, jump into Novex Telegram. That's where all this really goes down at. You've got us live trading in there. These get restreamed there. Clutch is dropping trades there. I'm dropping trades there. Ghost is steadily dropping trades. Every move Ghost makes is just dropped in the TG. It's free money, right? I'm part of a lot of trading platforms, and I can tell you without a doubt, I've never been a part of one other than Novex, where as a whole, the perps traders are profitable. It's literally unheard of. If you guys know an exchange that happens on, please let us know. But guys, we are profitable, and it's for a reason, because we show up, we put the work in, and we patiently make it happen. So that's what we're gonna do today. That's what we're gonna do every episode, baby. Let's get to it, man. There's really nothing too exciting in the crypto news right now, honest. But my one check-in question, I'm gonna bring it up. I'm sure you guys have noticed it, but it's Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy, they announced yesterday that it was orange dots again. That means that generally means they're buying. But we got the pump from buying, and here we are. And really, I want to say the past 2 months we've probably had about 4 from Michael Saylor, maybe 5, and we haven't been able to push above 100K. And this is one thing that I was really watching for, to be like, hey, is there a chance for us to go test those highs that we thought were possible in the 140 to 170? But if we can't break 100K without Michael Saylor buying, I didn't think it was going to happen. And if we can't break 100K with Michael Saylor, what is the current state of the market? Like, how are you guys feeling? We've got gold pumping, we got silver pumping, and Michael Saylor, who pumped us all the way to 100K a couple times, can't get us there anymore. I don't know, guys. Like, is it? What are you guys on here? Where's the liquidity flowing? Where isn't it going? But yeah, let's check in with everybody real quick. Hermit, how you doing today, bro? And what do you think about Michael Saylor's inability to pump us? Is it really that bad right now?
Good morning, everybody. I will say this, I, I mean, I guess it depends on how big his past buys are. I will say this, at least it's not necessarily the top of every little pump that he decides to buy this time. And now if he's buying, he's not increasing his overall average, as much as he was when he was buying at like 100 over 100K. Um, I honestly, I think right now, just the market in general is not the best. I mean, because Elon used to be able to pump meme coins just by saying one thing, and all of a sudden, meme coins would just skyrocket. So, like, I just am. I think everybody's just in that phase. It might just be the holiday thing where everybody's just deciding to just take a break or something like that. But I was talking on my live stream this morning with Buddy, and you know, we were just talking about the Genius and like Clarity Act and all of that stuff. Like, I think there's a lot of money just waiting on the sidelines for at least for this whole stablecoin thing. Um, and then once those get passed, I think that's when there's going to be a lot of money coming in, and I think a lot of people are going to be caught flat-footed, and just not knowing what to do in that regard. So I there's a chance for another pump. I don't think it comes from Michael Saylor. I think it comes from um, other places. But yeah, Mike. I mean, I just think a lot of people are a little tired at the moment. And again, it comes down to how much did Michael Saylor actually buy. I don't think his buys are as big as they used to be, but I'm not paying attention much to Michael Saylor, um, just because he doesn't have that effect on me anymore. So yeah, that's my opinion on it, though. I think there's still money out there, and it's going to show up when people least expect it. But
You think it could come from if it's not Michael Saylor?
say that again.
Where do you
Where,
think
where
the
do I think it's going to come from?
yeah?
I I just like you know private equity type firms, places like that. Do they have enough to pump it to unimaginable heights? I'm not sure, but I just know that, like, with all the conferences that were happening, like Breakpoint that happened earlier this month, there were some private equity type conferences happening before Breakpoint in Abu Dhabi or Dubai. I don't know the difference between the two. I'm sorry. I'm an a-hole for that, but they're all the same to me. But Breakpoint, like, there was a private equity conference happening before Breakpoint, so it kind of coincided, and so those private equity people could then just meander over to Solana Breakpoint. And some people were saying it doesn't seem as degenerate as it used to be, and it was more we have to become a business now type of deal, not you know what crypto kind of has as its like what people think of when they hear crypto. So I just think money that comes in, whether or not it comes into your preferred token or an RWA, like, I'm thinking a lot of RWAs might will pump at that point. That's just my opinion in that regard, but that's why, is because I know there's private equity sitting on the sidelines waiting for the government to decide to pull their head out of their rear end and pass things that need to be passed so that private equity can get involved. Now, that brings a whole other host of issues into crypto that people say they want, but I'm not sure if they're ready for it. But we'll find out when the time comes. But yeah, I think it's just a lot of private equity firms waiting on the sidelines, um, to start piling in. And you can tell me if I'm wrong or whatever too,
No, I mean
because I'd
it
like to
kind of
hear your
makes
opinions
sense.
on it.
I could see a private equity push at some point in time, especially if they're truly looking for the exit liquidity. Um, I just don't know if there truly is that much private equity left. You know, like I just don't know where. I don't know if there's that money, that sideline money that's actually going to come in or not. But we'll have to see.
We
Let's
will find out. Hopefully we find out. Hopefully we find out in January, not February. But I think they're saying they're trying to push it till February or something dumb. I don't know. But anyways, sorry. I'll let you continue.
No, you're good, bro. You're good. You're good. Like I said, it's a slow news day, man. You know, but I think little things we can pull maybe and just figure out, like you said. Okay, well, if Sailor can't do it, who can? If anybody or any organization. So I do like those thoughts there, Hermit. Let's throw it over to homie Alex. Alex, how you doing across the pond? Hope you had a good Christmas, bro. What do you think about Sailor's inability to market? Is there any more money gonna flow in?
Yeah, I'm good. Christmas was fun, man. Yeah, just chilled out. As I said on Friday, I did everything the week before, so I've just been chilling out and getting down to business. I did pop down and watch the football over the weekend, and that was about it, man. Other than that, just busy sorting stuff out. But yeah, I don't know. Sailor said he was going to pump it, and it's just dumped. But yeah, I guess I know. It looks just like classic, the normal. It went up for the Asian market, and it went up, yeah, in the Asian market, and then it came over to Europe, and it's dumped, and now we've got some consolidation for the US opening and stuff, man. So, but he does what he does. Maybe he wanted a bit of a pump and rebuy in a bit lower. It did pop down a bit lower than it was and stuff, man. So, I'll see. Maybe he'll keep buying. You never know. As for institutions, yeah, probably we'll see something, but probably later on in the year, because who works in January in finance, man? They're probably all on holiday somewhere nice, somewhere hot and sunny, all over January and stuff. Yeah, the here in London, the city's just dead during January, man. So, yeah, we'll see. But I did see some of the calls that Ghost was doing in the TG last night, where he was talking about we're going to know what's going to happen for the new year, and then he did that call what was 4 a.m. my time, so 11 a.m. 11 p.m. Eastern, and it just completely dumps. And I hope some of the guys in TG took the advantage of the alpha there, man.
I like it, man. I like it. Stay locked in around here, baby. All across the globe, we're locked in. I know it's early for Ghost, man. I don't know if you feel like getting on the mic, Ghost, and let us know your thoughts on this Sailor situation. But if it's too early for you, no worries, bro. We can kick it over to Clutch and get on the charts.
I mean, it's early, y'all, but damn, man, y'all acting like I'm like some like old head that just sleeps all day or something, bro. Golly. No, I'm just teasing. I'm here.
You're one of them West Coast Monicas.
Dude, I'm on the West Coast, man. It's 9:30 a.m. I'm definitely getting accustomed to the kids on winter break. Even though it's homeschool, it's still winter break for them. So they got me up late, but no, I'm awake, man. Listen, I'll be honest with you, dude. I've never really honed in on the whole Michael Saylor. I know he's obviously the Bitcoin maxi of them all. I'd really stick to the charts more than anything. I think news always aligns with the chart. I was on high alert for a couple of reasons. We did have a golden cross on a 1 hour for the first time on Solana since we lost it in December 6th. So that was pretty bullish. I still felt like it was a little bit too, a little too pumpy for me. even me being a permabull, as we call myself, there was the 200 SMA that was just something we've yet to reclaim. And so before I get excited, I had mentioned this, but I was also looking at the USDT dominance on the daily. It was a 50 SMA that would potentially be the support. I said this could set up a massive bull trap. I also looked at the 4 hour on USDT, and we had the 200 SMA that could potentially be support. And it was kind of setting up for the perfect short setup if they all met kind of simultaneously. And that would have been Solana hitting the 200 SMA as rejection, USDT hitting the 50 SMA on a daily, or again, the 200 SMA on a 4 hour. And it all fell into place flawlessly. The difference is I was obviously fast asleep out here on the West Coast, so I didn't get the perfect short setup of a lifetime. But I think it is bad when someone like Michael Saylor, who has such an impact on the market, similar to how you broke down Elon Musk when he would type about Doge or anything for that matter, those would absolutely explode. I know changing his PFP to a meme coin had it exploding at one point, right? So there's definitely such a different environment nowadays. I think as regulations come into play, it's definitely going to stunt the overall moves themselves. It's kind of like when you run a meme coin and you have such thick liquidity, even though there's a lot of buys coming in, it doesn't really move the needle. Just like full clips don't drop the prices as hard. And so with the fundamentals behind crypto itself, I think that's kind of where we are due to there being institutional buying and more regulations. I think that explosive moves are just kind of gone. I think there's just a lot more that's changed. So I think the overall landscape being so different is also going to play an effect. But I think just overall market sentiment itself, there's no more money in retail for the most part. Like retail needs to kind of re up. And I think once retail re ups and the market starts to move aggressively, unfortunately, retail's the ones that essentially FOMO into everything and keep that momentum train moving. So we saw this pretty decent pump on all markets. And then, of course, it fades out, it dies out. There's no more liquidity to keep the momentum train moving. So I don't know if I can hang my hat too much on Michael Saylor not being able to move the market. I'm just not entirely sure that he moves the market in general. He can move the market in general. I think it's jumpstart the market, and then where it goes from there starts to align with the TA and starts to align with the retail needing to re-up. Because like you said, from an institutional buying standpoint, like where is this money coming from? And I'll go back to the first ever space that I joined for Trade Talk when I first spoke to Clutch ever on a space. And he's like, dude, we're talking about 4 trillion in the overall crypto landscape, right? Like market cap for crypto in general. That's a lot of money. Where's another trillion coming? And then if that trillion comes, if 60% of it's Bitcoin, and at the time I never even really looked into Solana's dominance, but Solana dominance, the highest I've seen it was just under 4%. It's at around 2.3, 2.4, something like that. Last time I checked, in the 2.25 to 2.5 range. Even another trillion doesn't really put you up that much when you're talking about Solana. So you just gotta kind of like look at it from an overall, like, I guess, eagle eye standpoint. Michael Saylor, Elon Musk, these individuals can definitely jumpstart markets, but I don't think the momentum can really be too intense. I'll make it quick on this part. My stepfather, he got involved in the stock market right before the dot-com crash. He hates the stock market. I got involved in the stock market in 2019. Saw one of the craziest crashes ever with the pandemic, obviously, but I had not done anything more than dip my toe in the water. So then essentially when I saw this dip, I wasn't even concerned. My, wealth management guy that works at a really huge bank, he's like, yo, this is a chart I'm going to send to you. And this was like the first time I ever looked at a chart in my life. He sent me what was SPY S&P 500 since its inception. And it's just a straight up 45-degree angle with a bunch of chunk downs and chunk ups. He's like, so essentially, this means nothing. This will look just like one of these little drops eventually. And so what did I do? I added to all of my conviction bags, primarily Tesla, Apple, Facebook at the time, which is Meta now, Amazon, Netflix, the blue chips. And what ended up happening from there, as we all know, there was a massive recovery. Well, I feel like in crypto, a lot of people got involved during the pandemic, and a lot of people got exponential gains or substantial gains. And then now they dealt with like pullbacks in 2022 when administration was changed. And a lot of those people never came back. But then the next round, you get a lot of new people coming in. So I feel like right now we're kind of getting that reset once again, where sentiment's just so awful that people dip. Some of them will come back, some of them won't. My stepfather finally started getting back into stocks maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. And I think that's just kind of like the ebbs and flows of the market. So right now, Michael Saylor could jumpstart it and get a little bit of momentum to come in, but it's short-lived because overall sentiment. I think we need to really break structure from the downside and before momentum continues. And I just don't know when that'll be, obviously. So long story short, I don't know where the money will come from, but I think that retail needs to re-up. And I think that there'll be some regulations that will obviously change the whole basket of things, like tokenizing stocks on the Solana chain, on the Ethereum chain, apparently. I think there's a lot of liquidity and a lot of volume just by kind of marrying the two that could potentially bring more revenue in companies like Solana, which would essentially be bullish in the long haul. In the short haul, I got nothing for you, bro. Just got to play what's in front of us.
Well, man, you made a really great point there, I think, on the there might not be explosive moves in Bitcoin anymore, right? It might operate like the S&P 500. And I think that was actually a great comparison to where, like, regardless of what we want to say about the stock market, is if you zoom out far enough, it's pretty much straight up. If you're on the 20 plus timeline, it's straight up. So we could see very similar
for blue chips. Yeah, for blue chips, 100%, right? Like for blue chips, you look at Apple, right? Like you look at the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the Dow, like blue chips, you're looking at ETFs versus blue chips. And yeah, so Bitcoin is one of those blue chips, obviously. It's going to be something that a lot of Bitcoin maxis, they have yet to be wrong technically. We experience the volatility in the midst of it all. And if you're just a simple trader and not an investor, oh my God, bro, it's dead. It's dead. It's never coming back to life. And I felt this way before myself. I ran it up to 75K, ended up selling everything I had at 50K, watched it go all the way down to 16 or 17K again, and did not jump back in all willy-nilly, bro. I was like, yeah, man, I'll wait till it's at 15. And it never really got down that low. And ended up jumping in when it started crossing 2022 again. But yeah, that's the way I see it for sure, bro.
That's a really great point, man. And you could be right. Now, I think I do agree actually for the most part, but I would probably have have one explosive move and it might be years away, that like just we wake up one morning essentially, maybe it could even happen over hours, who knows, but like just over a very short period of time, everybody's priced out of Bitcoin. Because if Bitcoin's $1 million, you can't pay the gas fees to move it off the exchange, so like, yeah, go buy your $50 and leave it on the exchange. You really don't own your stocks, you just own an IOU on them. So I do think that you're probably right. I never really had considered it till just now that, man, there really might not be explosive moves on Bitcoin anymore from this point. Because I mean, like, what are you gonna do? Are you 200K real quick? That takes a lot of liquidity. But I am prepared that just like a bunch of time players over a 2-day period, I just run it up so fast none of us can get in with them. But I do like your point, Sergos, for sure.
Oh, I appreciate that, bro. What up, Clutch?
Present. Balaki. Balaki's in the building.
Hey, Ron.
Hey, Ron. Okay. What's up, everybody?
My bad.
I do like
my bad. Quick news.
Uh-oh.
We actually do have the market.
Okay.
Ukraine just launched an attack and tried to hit Putin's ramps. That could be the start of World War III. I'm digging.
What source did you hear it on?
I saw the Redhead Libertarian. She's a big political account that usually is pretty accurate. And then Zero.
Okay.
Hedge posted it as well.
Interesting. It probably explains the big old dump last night. People started selling, when they knew the attack was going to happen. If it ends up being a legit attack, who knows? Let's see. I'm looking on X.
My bad. That just caught my attention. But yeah, Clutch, man, what's good, man? Tell us what you see.
See it. Just so you do, just real quick, I do see it says Putin told Trump about attack on one of his residents, IFX. Kremlin hopes U.S. understands change in negotiation stance. This was a Zero Hedge. This was an hour ago on Zero Hedge.
Yeah, everything I'm looking at seems it's a confirmation. I don't know exactly what, but the attack was an attempt. Damn. Well, alrighty then, guys. Well, let's get to some market sentiment. What says you? Why is my job this easy sometimes, man?
Well, alrighty then.
That
changes things.
it doesn't. The downtrend commenced. Yesterday it was pretty funny. I'm going to reveal some insider information here. Ghost, Andrew, and myself have a cabal chat, just us three, right? It's just a Novex cabal chat. It's really just to game plan this and that. So,
Hey, I have a question. I'm so sorry, dog. I got a question, man.
Okay.
Does cabal sound dark to you?
It can be, because it is dark, because the market makers want to wreck us and we're not allowing them. So it brings dark times to them.
Well, no, but I mean, like, what is a cabal really? I need to know these things. I'm gonna ask publicly instead of just grokking it, because I just want to know, because I know I can't be the only one that always goes, man, a cabal sounds like so dark.
Like, it can, but like, I guess because cabals typically operate in secrecy, so I think that's probably why it gets the negative the negative connotation. And it's just kind of, it typically is like smaller group people, and it's just a secret group, then they work together. So typically it can be like, I mean, this is where Hermit should step in as like our Webster's dictionary. But essentially, it's just a private group, and they operate in secrecy, and is usually smaller groups.
Exactly. And, they operate for their own benefit, not for necessarily the benefit of others. So yeah, cabal it has a negative connotation, but you can also have a cabal that's good. It's just most people have a negative connotation to it. So your
So our
cabal is, hey, how do we make Novex better? How do
Correct.
we make our traders better? And how do we make everybody succeed if they follow what we're telling them to follow? Like there, it's just most people in this day and age would have the negative connotation, especially like with you got your meme coin cabals, you got the cabal of, like Clutch said, the market makers. The market makers are a cabal where they're just trying to like liquidate you any which way they can, and you got the Novex cabal that is trying to fight the other cabals. So
Well,
I
we're
got
trying to
the
fight. We're
cabal of
trying to
light.
fight. Well, Herman, we're trying to fight complacency as traders, right? But anyhow, so in that joyous cabal chat that we happen to have, I'm going to add a little
vigilante cabal. I like that.
the vigilante cabal.
Yeah,
I
there we go.
was
I like
like, damn, I just saw this vicious pump. It would be a shame if I don't top wicket. It was so awesome, bro. I literally, dude. And then I went on the TG given. I called a short. It went up a little bit more. We were at like 89.3, 89.4. And then when we went to 90K, it's like, dude, I'm freaking shorting this. It's just a shame that I didn't go to sleep with my position open, but I just wasn't sure what was going to happen. So, as always, guys, we're going to screen share. We're going to look at a couple things. Let's get to this market analysis here. That's what everybody wants to get here, right? So here's one of the things that I always go towards. And again, let's take a quick pause. If you're a brand new trader, I want you to understand one thing. 9 out of every 10 traders are losing traders. One of those 10 traders that isn't a losing trader, he actually gives it all back. The percentages are so freaking bad when it comes to trading that you have to surround yourself with people that know what they're doing, talking about, and they're going to help you stay protected from the double liquidations that happen almost on the daily. Both bears and bulls are wanted. They want both. The market makers want both sides to lose. So if you're new and you're listening to Trade Talk, what is this? Who are we? What do we do? We are a decentralized perps exchange operating on the blockchain. You know, the whole not your keys, not your cheese. It's not an issue with us. You control the account. You own the escrow account. You own your freedom to trade freely without any restrictions and being able to operate just in a way that hasn't been brought to us before over the last several years. So strap in and get ready because we give you market sentiment that you can take to the bank for the next 2 days. We host Trade Talk every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Eastern, followed by Tuesdays and Thursdays, Cup and Handle with Ghost. And we also do a whole bunch more streams when it comes to poker, fun events, community building, gaming, you name it, we do it all. The whole idea here is to give you things to do so you're not just watching charts and absolutely bored and just wondering, what am I going to do with myself? With us, we're always wondering what we're going to do with ourselves as well. But the only thing we look for is the new trade, the next trade, so we can keep winning and keep taking these free things that the market operates with, giving you just free plays. And you're going to learn that stuff. But again, if we're bearish for a season, if we're bullish for a season, take what we say here with an expectation that it's the sentiment for the next 48 hours as we host these shows every couple of days structurally for you so you don't have to fall apart when it comes to where do I start? What do I do? Well, let's get it. Trade Talk has always been that flagship for us to really promote doing the right things, fundamentally speaking. In step one, just like rebounding in basketball, you want to box out to get the rebound, right? Well, for trading, you want to go see what the market is telling you. And for starters, we want to look at the market cap, we want to look at the fear and greed, and we want to look at altcoin season ratings. Why? These ratings here tell you a lot about the market sentiment. So for starters, market cap being under 3 trillion is a huge deal. This bull run that just passed, we made it to 4.5 trillion, all-time high total market cap in crypto. The previous cycle, 2021, well, it ended in 2022, but anyways, that cycle, we went to 3.3 trillion all-time high. In this last wave of bearishness, we have really struggled to try to maintain 3 trillion market cap. The scary part there is that we're trading or we're trending underneath the total market cap of even previous cycles. That's dangerous. We're supposed to be getting better. We're supposed to get more. Just steady growth. You should never hit certain levels, but this market likes to take away everything that it gives you. We've known this, a lot of us crypto OGs, so we don't just hold forever. We love selling tops and buying bottoms. Really, I love selling when people are greedy, and I love buying when people are in fear. We're at a 30 score here, which the insane part of this is there's a lot of negative just aura and vibes in the market, financially speaking, world temperature, politically speaking. I mean, you have widows of some, doing crazy things out in this world. They're promoting things that their husbands were against. I think you guys know what I'm talking about, but all I'm saying is that feels like a butterfly effect, like type of situation where we're on now, because everyone keeps telling me all these things and that we're so supposed to just go straight up to the moon, but yet all we're seeing is liquidation event after liquidation event. It's getting very scary out there, and at the end of the day, this is why we do this, to keep y'all protected. So our traders, because we know the market cap is under 3, we know there's rising greed. We know this because this score was at 16 since last week, and it's starting to go up. Maybe that's why Michael Saylor bought. Other people bought, increased the fear and greed index here as people are starting to think maybe this is the bottom. That's why you're seeing a lot more fear. Well, let's discuss if we think this is the bottom, because ultimately it doesn't feel like the bottom, and there's a couple reasons why. So in order to get there, let's go to Trading View, and we're going to go to the CME. What was interesting about the CME on Friday, we had a close. And this is kind of why I was not sold on this pump last night. Yesterday, if you paid attention, that candle on Friday closed at 87,960. Yesterday, the candle opened at 88,200, essentially leaving about a $500 little gap. What's crazy there is, how do we close this gap? This wick just happened this morning, and here to really figure out how this swing went, let's go to the 4-hour candle so you guys can see it. So on Friday, let's identify the last candle on Friday. So you just got to hover over them, which was this one. So you see on Friday, we closed there. And what did we do on the open yesterday? We went massive pumpy, made it all the way to 90,000, damn near 91K. We went to 90,990. So let's just call it 91K for the CME. And the cool thing about that's when I sent out my text to the Cabal chat, with Ghost and Andrew. But I basically said, and I'm gonna just go to it because obviously I'm just being a little funny and typical little dad jokes, But I said, just saw this nice pump. I may have to wick it. We all know what that means by now. I'm the top wick bandit. I stay stealing tops for proof, because most of y'all might be like, what does he mean by that? Well, let's go to Novex.Finance, where it gets real fun. I mean, you notice my positions here. This is where I did the short and then Ghost. It went up some. I fired again. Look at this. I never fire 3 times at a trade. I fired 3 times because that's how sure I knew that we were going to dump. but I did put my targets at the 21 EMA because I was going to sleep. And this is the part that I was kind of angry that I didn't set my order to the 200 on the 30, on the 1 hour, but I literally shorted the top here. Absolutely grabbed an amazing price and ended up finishing with 180% position. Now, if I would have held the given, I use 100x. So keep in mind, I'm a degenerate, but if I would have set my targets much lower, it would have been a much better night. But, anyways, always look for wicks. But, anyhow, when I saw this pump, it was right around this candle, and you can see it because I actually shorted. That's right when the text message went out to these guys. It's like, hey, this crazy pump just came out of nowhere. It doesn't feel right. It didn't feel right here. And I went to the TG and called this short. So people that took it, GGs. I know there was a few that did. One posted the P&L and another one texted me and said, thank you for that free play. It was just absolutely easy to take this because we knew all the different sentiment points in the market, fear and greed rising. Yeah, we become fearful when it's greedy and we get greedy when it's fearful. Opposite. Market cap not just under 3 trillion, but now really heading towards losing the 2.9, and that's a scary situation. We don't want that. So anyways, in saying all that is how I was able to really understand that on this like in natural pump. It just did not feel natural. I was gonna fricking short it, and the CME was obvious that it wasn't gonna leave a little gap here. Why would it leave this gap? And for you guys that are listening, Ghost, Andrew, all you guys, no matter what level you are as a trader, you got to be able to recognize these things, right? Because this was the gap that it left open immediately on open candle. And I messed up. I should have just shorted to the gap. I'm a weenie sometimes, because I should have freaking just, again, set my freaking targets lower. Like, it was obvious that it was gonna go down, but, hey, I took half of the move. Cool. I'll fricking take it, but if I'm being honest, these are spots in the market that I need to improve upon and get better so I can grab more of these trades. But here's the thing. Every day there's trades, and every trade gives you a certain move. In that move, assuming let's just say it goes up 2% and you're trading with 50x leverage, that's 100% play. If there's 100% play on 50x leverage 5 times a day and you happen to catch 3 of them, you missed the other 2, but you didn't trade them. You went 3 for 3 by catching those 3 trades. If you were to catch at least 50 to 70% of every move, you are going to be extremely happy with your portfolio. I shoot for grabbing most of the dumps or most of the pumps whenever I'm trading. So, like, I didn't trade here because, I had family over, but you see the same things, right? Like, I'm shorting, I'm closing, and then I'm buying, longing, boom, 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 and then shorting, closing. But you see this, like, yeah, could I have grabbed all of this move? I got a bunch of it, right? Like, it just never gets boring when you're understanding what's at stake here. Like, for here, I long, close, finally grabbed my short, closed half, closed the rest here, and then look at this, just long. This was the long on the show, so all I'm saying is these little things here always present themselves, and you don't want to waste opportunity. So I understand you want to take trades, but understand that if you grab most of every trade you see, you're going to be extremely happy. So don't press, just understand consistency pays. Okay. So on the daily for the CME, we are what? Still absolutely not liking where we're at, but not hating it either. Why? For starters, it's given us better price on all our alts of choice. Enjoy your crap coin buying, right? It's at a discount. But I do feel there's going to be bigger discounts. Now, the one thing to understand though, for the CME, we are seeing a couple bullish signs. Sign number one, low, higher low, and we're starting to really go after and testing these dumps. I'm still not fully convinced that we fully tested this dump, so I'm still on a little bit of a careful side of things, but overall, I really don't hate this as it's consolidating like a champ, and it feels like the next leg down isn't going to be as brutal. I'm expecting 65K to be the absolute bottom, before we pump up from there. And the second wave bottom should be that 40 to 50K range. I hope I'm wrong, but let me tell y'all why I think that. We're going to go to the 3-day. On the 3-day here, we all know there is some bearish momentum brewing up on Bitcoin as the 3-day ADMA crossed under the 200. But on the CME, that has not happened yet. Why hasn't that happened? Well, the CME closes on the weekends, right? CME, the ticker is BTC1 exclamation. It represents the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. It trades Monday through Fridays and it closes on the weekends. That's why you'll see on daily candles, if you go here, notice how there's the Friday candle and then the very next candle is a Monday candle, the one we're currently on. That's because there's no trading on the weekend. So, in saying that, everything on the market just tends to slow down some versus what you see on the rest of the charts. And on the 3-day, we are consolidating above the 200 EMA, this purple line, which is real solid. But what I don't like is all these rejections to the 8 EMA. Typically, you get some nasty, nasty pullbacks after that. And to figure out where we would head, it's been the 5-day and weekly on BTC1 exclamation on this chart. It's been what I've been waiting for. So on the 5-day, 21 about to head under the 50. That's been happening and getting closer and closer. This gap steadily, if you look at percentages, just to kind of look at from here, right, to where we're at now, we have a 4.3% tighter spread just from these gaps from 21 to 50. So we're way closer here, as if you were to zoom in, do the same thing again, percentage speaking, we are about 1.75% points away from closing this gap, giving us a nasty cross that we don't like. As far as this candle here, there is 1 day left. I don't like it as the EMAs are all pointing straight down. It still looks pretty freaking bearish. But what you are seeing again and again is just the higher lows on the CME. That's a big deal because the CME is hard to move unless you have real buy or sell pressure. So when you're seeing a devastating downtrend, hold at specific levels that does give you hopes from maybe we can go, pumpy pumpy from here. Now, as far as why I have this gap open, let me go ahead and fix that because there is no gap open here. And we're back. All right. So on the CME, right? You see the 5-day come in. Look at the 1 week. It's going to look the same, right? So it's given us that cross. And it's my suspicion that on this cross, it should take us towards this little trend, potentially the 200 EMA. And if you look at the 200, it's 67K. What's the EMA doing? It is kind of scaling upward, right? So this is how I always predict things. The 21 is doing this, right? Should probably curve down there. And then what's the 50 doing? Same thing, right? So when you start looking at these things like this, you start focusing on your prediction, on your prediction lines and where you're going to go. Again, these are weekly candles, and I'm expecting that cross to happen right around the next two candles here and take us to the 200 right around 70K. And notice that 70K is a big gap here. Why do I have that gap? or why do I have that zone still there? It was one of the biggest gaps left, and it was left open. If you look at the date from when it was open, right? So you look on the candle, November 4th, 2024. We didn't close it till these candles here in March. So half a year to close this gap. That is definitely a market maker liquidity zone there, which is what makes me feel that where we are in no man's land in between both zones, something's got to give. And I think it's going to go down to the bottom side before it goes to the top simply because of all the bearish pressure that's coming in. So let's go look at Bitcoin futures now so you can kind of see the difference because the 5-day weekly, the crosses has not happened. But on futures, if you go to 3-day, that 80 MA already crossed, and that's the dangerous one that we had talked about because it hasn't happened for a very long time. So, and yesterday we went above there for a brief second, and that's where, hey, is this really, they're going to fade this cross, pump it up, and really give us a bottom from here? And that's where I started looking at USDT dominance. I started looking at all the other charts. And that's where I determined, no, this isn't it. I'm going to fricking short. And sure enough, big old inverse hammer candle. And it's not looking very good. It's not looking very healthy. And when you're paying attention here, we're at 87.8 here. But it's such a devastating price point to be stuck under 90K with Michael Saylor buying. I know he may not have the motion to take us to 100K. I'm seeing a lot of Elon replies with only 6 to 10K impressions. It's scary what's really out there. And the real answer to what's out there is what's not out there. And it's liquidity, it's people. They're heading back to work, they're heading back to take side gigs. They're trying to get out of their credit card debt. They're trying to catch up to their late mortgages. They're out there selling cans. They're out there recycling. Do you guys know there's a lot of things that are on the rise right now from an economical standpoint that is quite concerning because Americans, the most free country in the world, and I know that's a funny understatement because none of us are free, but we're as free as it gets. And we're struggling to the point where we're heading towards what third world countries are going through, cascading, collapsing governments. There's just so much bearishness in the world that it's kind of easy to understand, why these spots keep getting eaten up. So on the 3-day, notice the cross already happened. We got the 50 coming. The futures for CME is still waiting on all that. But look at the 5-day. This is where you can really see it. The 21 already crossed under the 50, so it's front running. We're holding on to the 200 on the 5-day, so that's what makes you think the weekly is what's the tell. And sure enough, on the weekly, they look the same, right? All the other ones look different, right? 3-day, 5-day, but look at the weekly. This little gap of mine that I'm looking at, it's the 21 under a 50, has not happened for a very long time. 21 under a 50. Last time that happened, let me show you. Okay? Because it didn't happen here. It didn't happen there. So the last time the 21 under a 50 EMA happened on the weekly for Bitcoin on futures, it's right here on this candle here. Boom. Look at, we even got one more wick before it freaking crossed. So that happened on April 22nd. We were at 43,000. We went to the 200 EMA before we bounced a couple weeks. And then what? Dumped, bounced, kept dumping, and found finally a bottom after the 821. I crossed under the 200 on the weekly. So again, these indicators, these EMAs, they're lagging indicators, yes, but they do tell you the law of averages, and you could lag or not, but I can tell you that when the averages are heading a specific direction, it's hard to stop. And that's why you're seeing this bearish downtrend really start when we at these levels when we knew there was just no more liquidity to the top. Every time we went to 125 and broke new all-time high, Bitcoin kept stalling. When's the last time you seen Bitcoin hit an all-time high and just wait there? We hit an all-time high of 68, 69,000 and we went to 77K or an extra 15%. We hit an all-time high at 110 and Bitcoin went to 120, another 8%. We then established, we went down to damn near 95, and then we established all-time high and we went to 127 again, about another 5-7%. It kept getting smaller and smaller on the higher the spread, right? So if you just pay attention from this wick to that wick to these wicks, right? The percentage just nice one. Oh, dang. And now is just kind of the obvious pain point that there just wasn't enough. So this 21 under a 50 is deadly, guys. Keep up with it. You definitely don't want to get caught slipping on this. Now, here's the cool thing about the 2 1 hour. You're starting to see that we're trying and making these attempts. Same thing with the 4 hour to head towards the 200 EMA. But as always, shorting the 200. Look at all these 200s. Andrew, I think you and I spoke briefly about when did I get my passport? That's when I spoke because I was like, dude, I hope I get the 200, and I just kept getting it, and I kept taking these shorts, and sure enough, the 4 hour 200 has just been an easy position to steal. On the 2 hour, we keep trying to break above it, but we always lose it very violently. And then we grab these EMAs, we yank them up to give us that bullish momentum, and then we just lose it all, and we get these nasty, nasty dumps. Like if you're looking at leverage, right? Anything retrace is going to kick your butt. But if you're looking at high leverage, look at from the top wick to the bottom wick, 4%. So anybody with 10x leverage, that's a 40%er. 100x, 400%. So of the 400% move, I caught damn near a 200%er. Not bad, right? But anyhow, we drag the EMAs to then use them as bearish momentum, and that's just what it feels like they've been doing here, 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 and here. When you hit these levels, these bottoms, there's no more bearishness. We're way below the EMA. So how do you get these EMAs to be on your side when you want this chart to short? Well, you freaking long on them, right? So you long the charts, you freaking then dump it on them, and then you get the confluence of traders seeing these EMAs. Oh, these crosses are going to happen. I'm going to short. Oh, we're way above the 8. I'm going to short to the 8. This is literally just free liquidity in these plays that they give us. So just paying attention, just understand the waves, but you see the bearishness. 30-minute, double cross, triple on its way. 15-minute, that means we already got the triple cross. So pay attention to the 1 hour. Yep, sure enough, 1 hour is the tell as the 2150 is getting ready to create this cluster, head under the 200, and we should get a nice little frickin' retrace here. I should expect, to head down towards those levels. Okay, so the last chart we're going to look at so we can really have some fun, we're going to look at Pumpy Dumpy. It's such an important chart. As always, right? Proceed with caution when it comes to this. And for those of y'all, a little secret, invert your chart. Remember, when we go up, the market dumps. When we go down, the market pumps. So if you just invert it, then you want to long with the chart and short when it's heading down. Again, if you invert it. But it's just a little secret for y'all. But anyways, on the weekly, we got the bullish momentum that we were waiting for. 21, 58, everything crossed above the 200. On the 3 and 5 day, it should have crossed as well. 5 day, I think it was the last one. And sure enough, look at that. It just crossed. And you know what's funny? Right before this cross happened, we got a vicious dump, meaning that vicious Bitcoin pump, right? This vicious pump gave you this big old wick right to the 8 right before they crossed it on you. This 5 day candle just happened, 4 days left, right? Oh, sorry, I'm tripping. 2.5 days left. Half of this candle is done. The cross happened. And now here we are above all those EMAs. On the 3-day, then that means all the crossing already happened as well. So now that you got the 3, the 5-day, and the weekly crosses going, we have the 2-week that's left. And if you guys remember, this is kind of what I was waiting for to finish before we realize if we're going to dead stop at this Toyota ramen territory. And for those that don't know, I labeled this red pocket Toyota and ramen, because if we go above that, all you're going to be eating this cycle is Toyota and ramen. Well, ramen for your food. And if you buy a car, Toyota will be the best car you buy. We want to reject, head towards the lifetime trend so we can lose that, go on a golden run, and then we can have Lambo and steak. The wife suggested that I put Lambo and lobster. It just sounds more funky and more fancy. So we'll take some votes on that. Maybe I'll change my Lambo and steak territory to Lambo and lobster. But anyways, on the 2-week, that 8, I'm sorry, the 21 already crossed above the 50. So we are at the level where we used all bullish crossing and we haven't ripped through this trend. This is an insanely good sign for us. Every time we've hit Toyota and ramen, we've gotten vicious dumps, right? It's happened 1, 2, 3, 4 tries. These clusters, I'm going to count them as 1. So on 4 tries, we finally went above a lot of areas, but here's the dangerous part. We barely wicked above here, which most people thought that's enough of a sign to for sure going this way. So for me, instead of shorting here and then being down bad, I just short these wicks knowing we're going to pump right back up. So paying attention to pumpy dumpy really tells me that we need to look at the smaller time frames to figure out bullish or bearishness from those angles. On the daily, all crossing already happened. On the 6-hour, right? Like we're getting these nasty dumps to bring these EMAs and bring us bearishness. But now look, we're above all EMAs and the 8 is coming with. So on the 6-hour, there's potential bullish momentum on this chart, which should take us to the Toyota and ramen territory if that continues. To see a better side of it, we're going to go to the 4-hour and same thing. We dump below, go to the 200, which we hadn't done so in a very long time. We hadn't touched the 4-hour 200 on USDT Pumpy Dumpy since December 10th. Okay, so you're talking about 3 weeks since that's happened, and we did a liquidation scam frickin' pump, meaning dump on this chart, right, to get us right there. And you saw what I did. I longed here, right? If you look at all my positions, right? If you're paying attention, if you're paying attention to my positions, look, just invert this. Okay. Look at when I'm shorting. Okay. Like I'm shorting these levels. Why? Because it's the exact same thing, you know, as Pumpy Dumpy. Right. So like when you put these together, right? I mean, just look at that. Let me go to the 4-hour. I mean, just look at that. Right? Is this a coincidence? I think not. Right? So it's like I'm shorting on certain candles, right? Cuz like it's easy to kind of see the correlation, right? Like I hope you guys are paying attention to that cuz it does help. It does become repetitive and it's quite boring at times, but you know what? I don't freaking care. It's free freaking money and I just wait for these events, these big old candles for me to go the other way. And this is whether it's long or short, it doesn't matter. Like I went long in these areas. I keep going. My longs are when I'm shorting Toyota and ramen, right? It's going to dump. So the market's going to long. So I've been taking little scalps like that. So if you're paying attention, you want to just understand all this bullishness that's on its way after they faked this bearishness, right? Gave us the 8 under 200 and now it used all these EMAs to go above it. And this 8 seems to just be what this chart is gravitating to on the 1-hour. Look at this, just holding on to the 8 on the 30-minute. All right, it lost the 8. So you see, here's a very, very interesting part. You guys should be watching the 30-minute chart as we're right in no man's land. if we go above here, we're going to get all this cross action to the upside. If we go below here, you're going to get the bearishness, and hey, commence some good long. So paying attention to the zone is really good. This Toyota and ramen territory, if you're in our Telegram, okay, you have this chart for free. Let me show you guys. I'm going to go to our Telegram, right? So we're going to go to the TG, we're going to go to the Novex.Finance, and we're going to go to charts. Then we're going to scroll up, and you have all these different charts. Look, I have the BTC index. I got Pumpy Dumpy. If you just click Pumpy Dumpy, look what it does. It pops open a window, and it gives you my Pumpy Dumpy chart. It's very important because it's going to show you the Toyota and ramen territory. It's going to show you the Lambo and steak territory. It's just going to show you just how I chart. And obviously, I'm not the best charter in the world, but what I am saying, my charts do slap. And you got all these charts for free, just by being in the Novex Telegram, Novex.Fi. Just go into the TG, search Novex.Fi, and that's all you need. So anyhow, guys, from everything that I'm looking at here, it is giving me hopes that this could be the end of this bullish momentum on this chart. But it looks and feels like it's too obvious that that's the play. So be very, very careful, as the easiest way to know how far we can go is after testing resistance here, right? Right? You see all this testing. You measure from the dump to the absolute top, and you get exactly where you can go. And check this out, because we dumped, rejected, and final fake out. We went from here. Check out how cool this is, guys. This is how I do some like guesstimations of where could we go on a previous fake out. And that's not a pretty sign, is it? If you guys remember, I had another little angle. It just deleted. Right? See? It frickin' breaks all hopes that we may have. This is extremely possible, guys. And why? Because last bear market, before we went to the bear market, right? We had the all-time high pushes on these bottoms, right? 68, 69K Bitcoin. We dumped. We gave one more fake out, one last exit pump, and you can see it on Bitcoin. If you go to the weekly, right? Look at this. One pump, two pumps, three pumps, four pumps, five pumps, vámonos, right? So you see it. One pump, two pumps, three pumps, four pumps, five pumps. Last one, vámonos. And I just simply measure from bottom to top. And if we break this little level here, this is a potential area that we can go. Now, I don't think we go that high. I think we land somewhere here in between. I'm going to be setting up forever longs type of deal, buying spot at these levels, like hardcore. Anywhere here, I'm in. Take my money, right? Everywhere else, I mean, yeah, I have some bags to take me to the lifetime trend and the market to pump, but everything is kind of there, and everything does look kind of obvious. So right now, guys, be on extreme alert, because on any one of these candles, you can just see us in a vicious 6.5 to 11.5% range. And that, my friends, if it happens, you will see Bitcoin at 60K. You'll see Bitcoin at these levels here. I almost expect Bitcoin to test this trend that it's on. So if I'm going to like give you a real prediction, right, where we're going, check it out. We're heading towards this area. Boom. All that area is where I feel we're heading if we break out from that Toyota and ramen. But that's my TA for the day, guys. obviously there's a lot of things to look at and to pay attention to, and a lot of moving parts, but as you guys can see, I just go from one to the next, one time frame to the next. I identify upcoming bullishness, I identify upcoming bearishness, and I just know that there's still a little bit of the biggest of time frames bearish momentum coming, and I'm gonna not want to ride that negatively. I want to keep winning, and the only way to keep winning is to take the 90 to 95% trades that I've been taking. And I'm hoping you guys are learning from this. Not that you want to just long and just you want to just short. You want to do both, but you want to do it on an effective basis by just understanding what the charts are telling you. But yeah, what's up, baby? What's going on?
So we had talked about on the last segment the weekly, daily uptrend of USDT. Can you hone in on that first, real quick, before you finish?
Sure. Let me
I want to see what you see on this. Remember, we had like this 45-degree angle on a daily uptrend from USDT.
Yep, right
Daily,
here.
week, both of them. Yeah. Can you chart your daily uptrend and weekly uptrend if it's still a valley or if it's an official trend, and then also tell us what you see? Because I see something interesting happening myself. I want to get your
So
input on it.
okay, so look at this daily. It literally gave us kind of this perfect three-touch trend,
Yep.
right? Because you have the three touch right there, solid, wick, and then
Mhm.
look, none of these broke. Remember, we were saying, hey, it,
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
it
yeah.
may not be able to control that top one, so it broke that top trend. But all it
Cool.
did on this dump, look at this, gave you a perfect
Finally.
freaking wick.
Okay, so
Bam.
question: does this give us a trend now instead of a
Correct.
That's what I thought. Okay, cool. Let's go.
Correct.
Let's go. Keep going.
That
Keep going.
that that's why it's a solid line because it gives you one wick, two wicks, and a third solid. So it's 2 and 1. 2 wicks, one solid, two
Yep.
solids, one wick. Cannot cut through wicks. And yeah, so here, let me remove the EMAs too, so it looks even better. Bam. That's a
Yep.
perfect trend. So we are trending here. And basically what it's doing is just essentially it's this bull flag, bro. It's
Mm-hmm.
freaking flagging, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just look at this, dude. It's just as soon as it's either gonna break above or below it, right?
Right.
Um, and that's what we're eagerly waiting on. And this is what I was saying with man, it feels like all the bearish momentum has done, right? Like the 2 week, the
Mm-hmm.
the the weekly, all the crossing happened, right? Everything has officially happened. Damn, look how sick this freaking trend looks on the weekly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my freaking goodness. Yeah, here, let me get it precise on the weekly. Boom. Yeah, look, none of it slices through. This is an official trend, bro. That's freaking gross.
This is what I've been watching, bro, since you put me on USDT. Like, if we
Good.
break this and reject it on the retest, we might get not a Lambo and lobster yet, but we'll get at least a little quick pump before hitting that lifetime trend.
Right. And here's what I was thinking, right? And I talked about this before that I figured I wanted to end the candle right here so then we can reject, go to the support zone, go one last time, something like this, and then boom, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like what I'm hoping we get, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it's like, bro, at any one of these moments, this thing could just be like, yeah, no, we're just gonna bounce. And like that's just kind of like if it maintains this trend, bro. Okay, this trend is very important because if it maintains it, we're just gonna zigzag here till it finally curves down. That's what I think here, just with the what this chart is doing, bro. It's freaking gross. But I am gonna save that trend because that is nasty,
Nice.
nasty, man. Here, and I'm gonna give us some more precise trend here. There you go. Boom. Let me save this chart for y'all. Go to the monthly. No, let's go to I like the 3-day on this. It looks so clean. Watch this. Boom. Bam. You see, like Let's save this chart. Cool. So now you guys have my USDT dumpy pumpy chart. But yeah, that's the reason between obviously the differences with the alleys and trends now. But yeah, we got a perfect look at this perfect trend, bro, on the freaking 3 day. Freaking nasty, bro. And the fact that they dumped it or pumped the market right to a precise location tells me one thing, bro, and I will die on this hill. The market makers tallied up all the liquidity all the way here and they longed it themselves.
Yep.
Everybody else started buying. As they bought, they sold on them. As they bought, they sold on them. Boom. Now we went below the range where we were at before we even started the pump. It's just perfectly scaled exit liquidity, bro. It's quite nasty. A beautiful sight to see, but it's nasty because we're traders. They're trying to get us, bro. It's liquidation, man. But yeah, guys. So anybody else have any questions, any sentiment they would like to throw up? I know we got Morgan up here, Hermit. What up, Alex, Andrew? Any one of y'all, any questions, any TA? Let me check the chat. Maybe there were some questions. I haven't been paying attention to the chat.
Hey guys, how are you?
Yo, yo.
Yo.
What's up, Morgan?
Good to see you guys. I couldn't get in at first. I don't know what I was doing. I was like, wait, that's a different date. So not sure if I was doing it right, but at least I got in to watch you do the charts, which I absolutely love. So thank you. Um, Definitely learning a lot from it, and I love it because you really do make it easier for me to understand. So
Nice.
appreciate you, and I love watching Ghost in the back end, and just listen to the good conversation. You guys are awesome. Really appreciate you. Definitely doing my best to bring more eyes, um, just to Novex, and so yeah. Hopefully, I can get some of my friends over here to watch and learn some good things.
Heck
Appreciate
yeah.
you guys.
And if any of Morgan's friends are out here, feel free to DM questions or anything you want asked. We do have educational courses coming up, and they're going to be free for our community. So don't think it's something you got to pay for. We also do training, like live trainings when screen sharing. I stopped doing it. The last time I did some was back in October. It's been a real busy November, December month for me, but I'm going to start doing those every week starting January. So obviously that's next week. But yeah, so if your friends are traders wanting to become traders, they need to learn anything. There's going to be quite a bit of content for them.
Awesome, perfect. Yeah, no, they definitely are, and I know I threw a couple of them in the TG. So, uh,
Ooh, that's popping. And of course, like we're usually always active on there. We've been less active during Christmas just because we're all Americans and
yeah,
we're all believers. We love celebrating our Lord and Savior's birth. But now we're back to doing what we gotta do, which is putting our traders on game, the Novex game. Trading on Novex.Finance will change your ways because you're gonna be around us, and trading around us will always assure that you don't get liquidated, man. The liquidation ratio of our traders is spectacular and insane. When our traders lose a trade, they're not entering at the top of a long and then it dumps to the bottom. If anything, they longed a little early and they're realizing some losses, but not getting their whole port eviscerated. That's because of the patience, understanding, and the things that we are doing to really make it fundamentally sound to be a trader just by being around us and knowing, when to take position. So we're in see green, take green territory, and it's been real fruitful for a lot of us, and very exciting times, and glad to have you around, Morgan. Hope you had a fun Christmas and all that good stuff,
yeah. Thank you, appreciate it,
for
and I look
sure.
forward to actually coming to the next poker game too. I was like, oh man, I gotta save up some money first. So
Oh, dude, I'm capitulating right now. I'm on a first, third streak, bro. I'm freaking hot. I should have had a
yeah,
couple more wins, bro. Ghost knows what's up.
yeah.
I'm supposed to be happy because all I do is just have a chance at winning all these tournaments I'm playing in. But my goodness, not finishing is not okay.
Yeah, it came in 49th out of 80 yesterday.
Oh, nasty. Getting that ass whipped. Jeez. Yeah.
Hey,
well,
Morgan,
that's,
I'll buy you into our Tuesday tournament on the AF Tuesdays,
What time? No, well, now I can gladly do it. So what time? What time are on Tuesdays, you guys?
6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
yeah, 9:30 Eastern.
9:30 Eastern. Got it.
Yeah, I'll buy you in and any of your community members. If it's the first time you've played, I'll buy you in. That goes for everybody listening too. If you've never played with us before, I'll always buy your first buy-in in.
Let's go.
No, I'll gladly come play. I do love it.
No, this is awesome. Well, guys, we're gonna start wrapping this episode up. Andrew, Alex, Hermit, Morgan, Ghost. Any of y'all have any final words before we skedaddle?
Just thank you guys.
God
Appreciate
bless.
you all.
Thanks
Let's
for
go.
today, man. Join
Stay locked in, guys. Don't buy the bullishness, man. There's just too much I'm seeing from the fundamental side that like I just think we're about to see some world stuff pop off and send us down, and you're kind of seeing it, I think, by the fact that we talked about in the beginning. Michael Saylor can't pump us over 100 anymore.
Ouch.
See green,
Bearer
take
of
green.
bad news. See green, take green. Love it. Sorry, Herman. Didn't know you were gonna speak. But what's up, brother? Any words besides that?
No, that's what I was gonna say. It's like the Cobra Kai. Trade smart, trade fast. See green, take green.
That's right. Andrew, Ghost. Anything?
I just want to say God bless everybody that's tuned in, man, and please join us on the free TG, man, and get some alpha. That's all. I love you guys. Appreciate you.
Oh, heck yeah. We're just out here painting our story, guys. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to paint yours as a successful trader, you have to surround yourself with the right people. We have chosen to become those people when it comes to the art of trading because we do see things differently. It's our hustle. It's our crypto hustle, baby. Much love. Trade on Novex.Finance. Check us out on socials, Novex.Fi. Novex.Finance on some, but just know we're going to be around for years to come. And why? Because we are out here making these market makers, baby.
Charts light up, glow brighter than the Vegas Strip. CME gaps got the streets on a crypto trip. Candles dancing, wigs slicker than a hustler's drip. Novex moves silent, no need for a clip. Legend in the trade, fingerprints on the block. Blockchain buzzing every tick like a Glock. Defy dreams, I'm stacking on that E-Rock. Wallet full of alpha keys, turn never lock. Novex.Finance, where the game gets flipped. Candle pattern sparking every chart we grip. Decentralized hustle, never sink, never slip. West side grind, making coins do flips. Bulls charge hard, bears lurking in the fog. Patterns in the smoke, I'm the wizard with the log. Fibonacci spirals, I'm the code in the cog. Crypto moves sharper than a diamond-studded dog. Green and red candles, paint Picasso on the screen. Liquidity pools deep, pockets never lean. Well swim silent, but I peep the scheme. Alpha moves nightly. Cashing out the dream. From the Satoshi code to the ether's flame. Novex rewrites rules in this money game. Charts speak the gospel. Prophets proclaim. West side rider. Blockchain my claim.